Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Happy Sunday, everyone. Jo here with SportsGrid. It's time for a Pocket with Jo. We got 7 games on the ice today. Got a couple of interesting situations for some of these teams. Some teams that are coming off back-to-backs. Other teams that might be looking ahead in kind of a sandwich position after playing solid in their last game and then have a big opponent on deck. So a couple things we're looking at. Yeah, let's get back on track with the NHL today, you guys. We're going to jump right into it with the Battle of the Metro. Now, the New York Islanders facing the New York Rangers. These rivalry teams hate each other. Remember the Winter Classic last year when Rempe came out throwing gloves as soon as he hit the ice, making his NHL debut, making a huge statement out there versus the Islanders. I do expect those penalties to come again in this game. I expect this game to be heated, but one thing I do think is the Rangers should be able to get the win. Now, the New York Islanders are coming in here at plus 158. I just don't trust this team offensively and what they're doing out there on the ice. They're just not finding the back of the net enough for me, and they're not getting those high danger shots. When we look at the New York Rangers, hands down, this is a more complete team out there on the ice. They are so strong on the power play. This team's kill is great. This team is able to find the back of the net, and I do think they'll find the back of Sorokin's net tonight. The problem is the juice you have to lay on the money line. Minus 194 on the money line. This total sitting at 5.5. The 5.5 juice to the over. When we look here, Sorokin versus Igor, we know we have two outstanding goalies in net tonight. Now, the Rangers are averaging 3.9 goals per game. I do think they should be able to hit Sorokin in this one. They've got so many playmakers here with Panarin, Trocheck here. And I think looking at the Islanders and with their struggles, offensively, I can't see them scoring a lot. The Rangers are holding opponents to 2.2 goals per game, and the Islanders are a team that are only averaging 2.27. So Battle of the Metro here, but we do see strong trends towards the road team, which is really interesting. The road team has won 4 of the last 5 meetings. Instead of taking the Rangers for the full game, I'm going to look at them to come out hot to start. Give me the New York Rangers in the first period on the puck line, laying a half goal at plus 138, and then we can be over and done with this and roll our money from this game into some of these later games out there. Again, divisional matchup here, Battle of the Metro. These two teams should bring all that they've got. Now, the Rangers did win 3 of the last 4 meetings, but we have seen that road team be so solid in 4 of the last 5. So a little cautious here taking the Rangers for the full game, but I do think they come out strong straight out of the gate, put those goals up, and get us that money. Good morning, Matt. Glad that you could join us here today on Sunday. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Winnipeg Jets. We know how strong the Winnipeg Jets have been rolling on the season. They've won 10 games already. They've only played 11. This team hasn't played very much at home, though, and this is one concern for me here. This is their second time at home since October 20th. It's crazy, you guys, the amount of times this team has been on the road. Now, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning on a road trip here. Andrei Vasilevskiy expected. His numbers are so solid, you guys. He's already got a shutout win on the season, 6-4 with a 2.52 goals against average and a 906 save percentage, facing Connor Hellebuyck. Connor Hellebuck's numbers are phenomenal. 7-1, 2.12 goals against average, and a 923 save percentage. 1 shutout win for him as well. I think with how strong the offenses are here, Winnipeg's not going to be slowed down. No matter what you do, the Winnipeg Jets, they are just rolling so hot offensively. I think the first period goes over 1.5. The first period over 1.5 goals is coming in at minus 126 because I think both teams can score quick in this first period. And then I wouldn't be shocked if we saw the lockdown. So give me, instead of the full game over, give me the first period over 1.5 goals, both teams to score in the first period at plus 164. And then I'm staying off the rest of this game. We have seen Winnipeg win the last 4 meetings, but looking at those odds, you guys, the Winnipeg Jets are minus 138 on the money line. That's too juicy for me against the Tampa Bay Lightning because I do think the Tampa Bay Lightning have a fighting chance in this one. I expect this could even be a 2-2 game. going to OT with us getting 2 goals in that first period, and then one of the teams scoring in the second, the other one scoring in the third, pushing us to OT, still keeping us under that total of 6.5. I do think goaltending really has to come to play, but we could also see it. So that's why I don't want to take the full game to that under or over, because I could also see it going 3-2, someone scoring the empty netter, pushing us to overtime and getting us over the 6.5. So I am going to stay off the total, just that first period, over 1.5, both teams to score. Kyle Connor's been unstoppable out there as well. So that's someone I would look at. Let's look at the Seattle Kraken. They're taking on the Boston Bruins. Now, I talked about a sandwich game, and I do think the Boston Bruins are in that sandwich game. They're coming off a fantastic game versus the Philadelphia Flyers. They were able to get the shutout in that one. We rode them yesterday in the first period on the puck line. That cash, we got in and out of that game. I do think this is another one you can get in and out of the Boston Bruins game, taking them on the puck line in the first period versus the Seattle Kraken. But I do think the Seattle Kraken have every ability to come back and get the win. I'm going to play a couple things. I'm going to look at the Boston Bruins in the first period on the puck line. That's coming in at, let me just pull up those odds, at plus 142. Then I'm going to come back in on Seattle. Now, if you want to jump live on Seattle before this game kicks off, in case the Bruins don't go up in the first period, I don't blame you. They're coming in at plus 146. I would put a half unit on that and then put a half unit on them to come back once the Boston Bruins go up. You could even at that point look at the puck line plus 1.5 for the Seattle Kraken, which is another strong way to go. But for myself, I'm putting a half a unit on the Kraken right now, plus 146 on the money line. I will put a full unit on the Boston Bruins in the first period on the puck line, laying the half a goal. Yes, I'm getting greedy, you guys. And then if the Boston Bruins go up in the first period, like I expect, I will put that other half unit back in on the Seattle Kraken, either puck line or money line, depending on how we're seeing them play out there. This is the second night of a back-to-back here for the Boston Bruins. Yes, they got the big win over the Flyers. My bigger concern is the Leafs on deck on Tuesday. We have a second night of a back-to-back here for the Seattle Kraken as well. They have the Avs on deck on Tuesday. I'm not worried about the look ahead. They're off a shutout loss yesterday, so they're going to be eager to get right in this game. They lost to the Ottawa Senators 3-0. So that is where I'm going. The Kraken have also won 3 of the last 4 meetings versus the Boston Bruins. They play this team hard. Now, the Bruins have stepped up more on their home ice. You should see that. David Pastrnak has been strong. Brad Marchand as well. They should be able to, in their offensive zone, carry that puck, get those quick passes, and capitalize on Grubauer's weaknesses so far this season. He's sitting 1-4 with a 2.90 goals against average and an 8.86 save percentage. So they should be able to do so. But if they're looking ahead at all to the Leafs, this Seattle Kraken team, off being shut out last night, will bring that fire because they have before versus the Boston Bruins. I do think this one stays under that total of 5.5. They're 4-2 to the under in their last 6 meetings between these two teams. That under 5.5 is coming in at minus 102, you guys. So, well, Scott, that is a hot trend. 11-1 straight up for the Boston Bruins in the month of November over the last 2 years. That's a phenomenal hot trend out there, Scott. Thanks for throwing that one at us for sure. Yeah, the Flyers in that first one had the Mom Appreciation Night. That is for sure. And now I wish the league would put out a whole list of those because it's such a good betting opportunity looking at these teams to be able to come out when their moms and their dads are in the stands and what they're playing for. Under between Calgary and Edmonton. Kelly, I like where you're going with that one. Also look at Calgary's ability to win at home because you know what? Calgary and Edmonton, the home team, always gets that win. And I don't doubt, Kelly, that Seattle game is a 2-1 win for Seattle with that first goal coming for Boston in the first period. So that's what I'm kind of thinking as well. Both of those offenses really haven't been lighting anyone up. That is for sure. Let's move on to the next game. The Washington Capitals taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. These lines look so flipped. We have the first in the Metro and the fourth in the Metro teams going against each other. If you were to tell me at this point in the season, which team I would believe would be sitting first in the Metro and which team would be sitting fourth, it would be flipped. I would have thought it would have been the Carolina Hurricanes sitting here first in the Metro and the Washington Capitals sitting fourth, but it is the other way around. This Washington Capitals team offensively has been so explosive out there on the ice. It's like no one can stop them or slow them down. They're locking down on defense as well, only allowing 25.2 shots on goal per game on their goaltender. Charlie Lindgren is expected net. Now, his numbers aren't fantastic. He's got an .882 save percentage, but he's getting that support in front of the goal. The thing is, Carolina Hurricanes, this team is averaging 34.9 shots on goal per game. Best overall in the league. They also can lock down. They are the best team at locking down in front of their goaltender. Kucherov expected tonight for them. He's got just below a 900 save percentage. So they are giving him the protection too. They're allowing only 24.7. Both of these teams are going to play elite defense tonight in front of their goaltenders. This will come down to mistakes by the goaltenders, mistakes by the defenses, because these offenses have been just crushing it out there on the ice. This is a hard one to bet to the under 6.5. I'm not going to watch this game because it is going to be so stressful to stay under that 6.5. Current lines, when we look at them, the under 6.5 at -132. We got the Washington Capitals at +230. This team has been so strong that I want to bet them at +230 here to pull off another upset going into Carolina and getting the win. It is so tempting, you guys. Ovechkin lighting things up right now. +1.5 for the Washington Capitals at -112. If you look here at the Carolina Hurricanes, -1.5 at -108. I do think this game goes to overtime. So I will take the Washington Capitals +1.5 at -112. And because I think they have the opportunity to do so, I will take them for a sprinkle straight up on the money line. I think this is an overtime game. Overtime +400. The rest advantage is here for Carolina. We got the second night of a back-to-back here for the Washington Capitals and a one-off road game. So scheduling-wise, it's not great. This team just rolling with so much momentum. 7-2 win yesterday versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. I love what we're seeing out of them. I don't want to step in front of them right now. Let's look at Toronto. Toronto taking on the Minnesota Wild. Current lines on FanDuel, you guys. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs at -106. The Minnesota Wild are hot right now. -113. Total 6.5. The juice to the total is on the under 6.5 at -130. You're getting close money to the over. I do think this could be a 4-3 style game. Second night of a back-to-back here for Toronto with Stolarz in goal. I think they get a little bit sloppy out there defensively in this game versus a Minnesota Wild team that has Kaprizov playing absolutely lights out, complete fire on the ice. Gustafsson has been hot as well in net. He's 5-1-1 with a 2.29 goals against average and a 919 save percentage. Now Stolarz has solid numbers as well. 2-4-1, 2.45 goals against average and a 916 save percentage. I just look here at the Wild. They're off that win versus the Tampa Bay Lightning on Friday. They were able to get 5-3 win. We see Toronto, and they're going to want to look to bounce back, as the St. Louis Blues did beat them last night. That was a road game for Toronto, 4-2 loss to the Blues. So they're going to be frustrated. They're going to want to look to take it out here. They've also won the last 5 meetings versus the Minnesota Wild. But there's something about this Wild team with how they're playing right now. Kaprizov and Gustafsson, they have to be hot in this game for them to be able to get the win. I'm going to take the Wild's team total over 3.5. I think if Toronto wins this, it could be a 5-4 game. If the Wild win it, it could be a 4-3 game. So that's where I'm going. I think the safest bet is the Wild's team total over 3.5 goals coming in at -130. No, +130. Over 3.5 goals for the Wild at +130. Now, William Nylander, if you're looking for a prop for Toronto, he's been insanely strong versus the Minnesota Wild. We've seen 8 goals this season, and in the last 4 meetings versus the Minnesota Wild, he's been able to put up 5 goals. So William Nylander for the anytime goal at +190. His shots on goal have been raining in each and every single game. You can take him over 3.5 shots tonight. I think I'd look at Max Pacioretty as well here for Toronto. But when we go over to the Wild, you know we got to back Kaprizov here for the anytime goal. We're not getting great value. It's +110. But you look at him, you could look at his 2+ points as well. He's gone over 2 points in each game so far with 21 points in his last 10 games. Absolute straight fire out there for Kaprizov. You could also look at Matt Boldy for his points for his anytime goal tonight. Again, I think this is either a 4-3 win here for the Minnesota Wild or a 5-4 win for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Either way, it gives us the Wild's team total over 3.5 at plus 130. You could look at that first period, both teams to score in the first period over 1.5. I do like those bets as well. Let's jump into the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Calgary Flames. Yeah, I did go over the Winnipeg Jets game. Looking at the Winnipeg Jets game, just to go over it quickly here for you versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm looking at the first period over 1.5. That's coming in at minus 126, and both teams to score in the first period at plus 164. I do think with how the Winnipeg Jets have been playing, they should be able to get the win. I just don't love the juice that we have to lay on them in this matchup here. They have dominated, winning the last 4 meetings versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, but this is going to be a game where I'm staying off the total. I think high scoring first period, we could see defenses locked down. The Winnipeg Jets haven't been able, no one's been able to slow them offensively. So Kyle Connor, looking at him to come out nice and hot. Look at those power play points and power play goals in this matchup as well. Good luck, Kelly, with the 4-1 win for Toronto there. Okay, jumping back into it. Calgary is at home versus Edmonton. Now, I'm yet to clarify if my mama is going to be at the game. This is Battle of Alberta, so hopefully she is able to make it. She was at that last game where Calgary was able to get the shutout win versus the New Jersey Devils. So she's 1-0 to start the season with her at the games where the Calgary Flames are today facing the Edmonton Oilers. This is going to be a complete battle between these two teams out there on the ice. Stuart Skinner expected for the Edmonton Oilers. We know the Oilers are without Connor McDavid, but without Connor McDavid in that last game versus the Predators, they were able to come out and fully display how strong this team can be, getting a 5-1 win. Now, Dan Vladar off that shutout win versus the New Jersey Devils and Markey back in the building. You know this team is riding a high right now. When we look at these two teams, when they match up, that road team has dominated. The road team has won, I believe it's the last 4 meetings between these two, and we're going to stick with that. Calgary's sitting 4th in the Pacific, and Edmonton, off to that shaky start, sitting 5th in the Pacific. They've lost 6 of their last 11 games, are without Connor McDavid. I'm looking for Calgary to capitalize on those weaknesses here of the Edmonton Oilers. So give me the Calgary Flames plus 130 on the money line. Connor Zary, someone you want to definitely circle out here to come out strong. Backlund still yet to score that goal, so I'm looking for Backlund to come out. Rasmus Andersson has been so strong out there, offensive defenseman. He's actually getting those block shots, and that block shot market is something we will keep checking back in on FanDuel. They didn't give it to us all last season on FanDuel. If you can get the block shots for Rasmus Andersson, look at that to the over. It should be right around 2.5. He's getting right around 3.5 block shots on average per game. So I do think he can go over that 2.5. Rasmus Andersson for the point today is in play as well. But looking at those lines, you guys, before I forget to tell you, sorry about that. Calgary's plus 132. You're actually getting more value. It was plus 130 when I bet it earlier. Minus 160 here for the Edmonton Oilers and 6.5 for that total. The under 6.5 is minus 115. So the juice is actually dropping on this. I got it at minus 120. 3 of the last 4 games have stayed under that total. I do think without McDavid on the ice, yes, Leon Draisaitl is going to be a lot for them, for the Calgary Flames to shut down, but they're going to have to find a way to shut down Leon Draisaitl, and this game should stay under that total of 6.5. This season, these two teams, out of all of the games they played, have combined for 14 unders. So looking for a strong under trend to continue in this one, you guys, and Calgary to get the win. So Chicago versus the Anaheim Ducks. We were able to get the Chicago Blackhawks getting the win over the LA Kings last night. It was a crazy shootout win, 4-3 for the Chicago Blackhawks. They played a great game. Sonderblom now expected in goal tonight. When we look here at the Anaheim Ducks, the only reason the Ducks are winning is because Dostal can stand on his head any given night. He's 4-2-2 with a 1.99 goals against average and a 945 save percentage. If the Ducks pull out the win tonight, it's because Dostal completely gets the shutout here versus the Chicago Blackhawks. It could happen, you guys. There is a rest advantage here for the Anaheim Ducks, but they are home off a 4-game road trip. I don't trust any of the players offensively and defensively. This could be a game where just Chicago's on the ice pebbling Dostal in this one because the Ducks offer no resistance. If you can get Dostal save goals or save shots on goal tonight, look at that to go to the over, whatever that number is coming in. And I know Chicago doesn't provide a lot of shots on goal, but I do think in this matchup with a lack of resistance here by the Anaheim Ducks, they will. This is the second night of a back-to-back, though, in this game for the Chicago Blackhawks. I want to roll with them to get the win as well. Again, I'm going to look at them to come out straight up on that money line at plus 112. Again, I'm not laying minus 134 on the Anaheim Ducks. There's no way. We faded the Chicago Blackhawks in that one game versus the Sharks when they were coming in as a favorite. These bad teams versus bad teams, you got to take the plus money with the underdog, in my opinion, because you can't trust the Anaheim Ducks. And who wants to lay juice on the Anaheim Ducks? So I will take a shot on the Chicago Blackhawks here. Again, Dostal is the stronger goaltender between him and Sonderblom, and we do have the Blackhawks on the second night of a back-to-back. But it's the plus money that's getting to me. Plus, the road team has won the last 4 meetings between these two. So strong trends towards the road team. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Those are all the bets tonight. You have Dostal in your fantasy. Then your fantasy is racking up the point. Yeah, Calgary's offense definitely does struggle. They started off so phenomenally hot offensively, and now we have seen those issues, but I do think that one stays under that total. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. I want to thank you so very much. You got to look at Troy Terry. I know Troy Terry has been strong. Chicago won 10 of the last 13 in this series. So let's go. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you for joining me here on Pocket with Jo over on SportsGrid TV. If you haven't got my Madden Quickie, it is up on the SportsGrid app. 3 best bets on the football field today. I've also got my Cup of Joe going over all of the 1 p.m. Eastern matchups up on X. So go over and check that out. All of the ones I'm liking, there's a couple of prop bets in some of the games that I'm just not loving the spread. I will be putting out an afternoon Cup of Joe, so make sure you stay tuned for that to drop in the afternoon games. And then I'm live with Adam Kaufman and Scott Wetzel. We're on from 4:20 Eastern all the way to 8 o'clock covering those afternoon games, live betting them. So make sure you join us there. It's going to be a lot of fun. George Kurtz is going to join us for that Sunday night preview. And I can't believe it's Sunday. And I can't believe we're not on daylight savings anymore, which means like 4 o'clock, it's going to start to get dark here, my time. So yeah, not looking forward to that, you guys, but I got to go walk the dogs. Then I'm going to do my afternoon Cup of Joe. So stay posted for that. And then I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch some hockey. I'm going to watch some football. Get ready to go on SportsGrid. So you guys, hang with me today. It's going to be a fun one. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. And I will see you back here tomorrow, noon Eastern, for Pocket with Jo. I don't even know how many games we have going on tomorrow. I tell you, the Chargers are not losing to the Cleveland Browns. There is no way. We're going to look for the Chargers defense to come out nice and strong, JP. You guys, have a good one. I will talk to you tomorrow. And I'm ulting the Chargers line. I'm laying up to a touchdown. You guys, bye now.